Hey, what's going on Patreon? This is Zai, third as I Astro, and I just wanted to kind of give you guys a little bit more than what I posted in my blog today about Saturn and playing by Saturn's rules to win. So Saturn is a taskmaster, father time. He rewards you greater than any other planet. So in Jyotish, Vedic astrology, if you put in 50%, Saturn gives you double whatever you put in. So if you put in 10, he gives you 20, and so it's just you have to be able to recognize, Saturn's structure, order, rules, how you can be disciplined. Saturn is the minimalist planet, and so he's looking at practicality and ways in which you are not sort of being unrealistic in your goals and expectations, and you can achieve even more or far greater than you expected, especially when it comes to your long-term benefits, to your legacy, and also the lessons and the testings are the ones that give us the sort of gain, the transformation of self, where we gain wisdom from it. So however, the thing about Saturn is when you don't play by his rules, I mean, Saturn, the lowest vibration, he's like a wet blanket, think of a cold, dark, wet place, and so it's not fun. And it can feel slowing in your progress, feel depressing, and just your fears are amplified, your anxiety, your worry, all that. Saturn makes me think of the devil card in the tarot, because if you look closely at that card, the two people have little ropes around their neck, and the ropes are loose. They can remove them themselves. So it's our own self-imposed limitation and self-imposed fears. So cartography is one of my favorite subjects. I have a Sagittarius rising, and Sag rules travels, cultural experiences, and I just have always loved exploring cartography. I've lived all around this country, and I've interviewed and connected with people that live on so many different lines. And I can say one thing about living on my Saturn line, the lessons that I gained from that place, that region, I wouldn't trade them for the world, because they have really shaped and sort of molded me into the astrologer that I am today. Saturn wants focus, like dedication, organization, structure, discipline, law and order, acceptance of responsibility, and caution. So it's about being careful and taking precautions on Saturn lines. So one of the really cool benefits of living on Saturn lines is I've had friends and clients tell me about their multiple degrees they've been able to attain, or project long-term goals that they had, that they were able to get, and yet they never really felt like it was enough. It almost like it always exacted a price. But you can reach career peaks, for example, on a Saturn midheaven line, the career line, but the person can become so grim or so focused on the next bigger goal, or that the fact that they're not at the goal that they want, which might not even be realistic, that they can't be present and enjoy the ending, or the rung on the ladder where they are now. Um, so let's take a look at Saturn in cartography. I've pulled up through four different charts to show you the lines. We know that in astrology there's four main angles: the ascendant, which is your outer persona, the mask that you wear; the midheaven, which is the top of your chart, the career peak, your reputation, your status, how you are perceived in your career and what you do for the in the public eye. Then you have your descendant, DC, which is like other people, your relationships. It's your projection, really, through partnership. Then you have the IC line. This is the first one we're going to look at. The IC line is home, family, roots. It's real estate. So if we were to put Saturn in IKEA, or if we were looking at houses, Saturn is it likes minimalism, so it's what is excess, let's get rid of it. What is not going to serve you, what can you not take where you're going? That's what Saturn represents. So if you are a minimalist kind of person, Marie Kondo and all that, or if you like kind of holding on to something, even if it's got like duct tape, and you're going to find a way to just make it work a little bit, um, it might be an okay line. Saturn here for real estate can bring obstacles and insecurities if you don't have a strategic plan. So you can't just go, oh, I just want to move there. I don't know. I don't have a plan. Saturn's gonna definitely give you a little thump on the forehead. Um, family circumstances can feel heavy and burdening. I have a good friend of mine living on her Saturn IC line right now, and just one issue after another with her mother, and then with her, looking for home, looking for housing, and having struggles, long obstacles here, and things around the home. The house seems to, have little issues that end up causing or inflicting like pain. I think there was an issue with the steps at their house one time, and I think everyone in the house had fallen down the steps because it was so slippery until they installed one of those like sort of grip things on the edge of the steps. But just little things like that can come up. Lots of responsibility if you have children, or if you have the things around the home. It just feels like you're constantly piling on more responsibility. Let's take a look at another one. Give you an example here. Okay, this one is Saturn on the descendant. All right, so this is other people. um you can attract older and more refined people in one-on-one relationships. You definitely are going to need patience in partnerships. Your partner might feel like a long-term project to you, instead of, and you might project your cloud of limitation and heaviness onto others. And so you may think other people are treating you poorly, and they're, kind of mean and giving you ultimatums. But in reality, it's your projection that they're just mirroring back to you. Relationships can exact a price on this line, and you feel like you shoulder all the responsibilities in your home environment. Um, let's look at another one. Saturn on the midheaven. So this is actually Saturn on the midheaven. Saturn loves it. This is Saturn's home, and so depending on the sign it's in and all that, you can really get out on top on a Saturn midheaven line. It's, your hard work, integrity, and organization can really take you there. You get recognition and respect for the work you do. You keep long-term goals and career expectations realistic. You can celebrate each landmark and be where you by celebrating, excuse me, each landmark. You can be where you want to be on the ladder. So if you don't recognize that, for example, this is the best job you've ever had, that you are in a place of where people really respect you. If you don't notice your title that you held at your job and how you've gotten there, Saturn will thump you on the forehead. He's going to say, "Oh, well, I'll just give you more crappy experiences or make you feel as though you're not where you want to be." Um, you have to remember the top is not linear. It's not a one line sort of thing. The top can be a arched ridgeway. The top can be a shape like an S. There can be curves and twists and turns, and it's okay. It's a part of the journey. But with Saturn on the midheaven, you can find yourself as the program coordinator, the director, the CEO very quickly if you, again, play by Saturn's rules. And let's look at this last one here. Let's look at Saturn on the ascendant. So Saturn on the ascendant line, this is the ascendant is our outer persona, the masks that we wear, how we present to others. And so this one it can be felt pretty intensely. People will take you seriously, whether let's say you're a jokester or prankster or trickster kind of energy. People will see you as someone that's serious, and you look older. You might act more mature, refined, and wise. Your outlook may be limiting and careful. You could be more rigid and take more responsibility, like wanting to take on more responsibility. Health issues can come due to excessive worrying. I can say from living on a Saturn ascendant line, I remember one day my supervisor walked into the where I was working and said, "Gosh, why do you look so intense? Why do you look so serious? Why are you so serious all the time?" I man, and you're like, "What? I don't understand." My closest friend on a Saturn line was in his 60s. I didn't really connect with or have time for people who were what around my age or feel as though we had anything in common. And I wanted to learn, and so I commenced this intense study of astrology. And I remember waking up some days at 4 or 5 in the morning with astrology books all around the bed, and just like wanting to absorb, spending a lot of time in libraries and stuff like that. Because this is the ascendant and this is a part, the body or the V, in traditional astrology, this is going to symbolize your body and how your body will, feel overall, how you'll move in your body. And it can feel like a weight, heaviness on you. Um, you can have a palate that's a little, if you, let's say you're a sweet tooth kind of person, you might crave more of a refined or minimalist palate, like where you want to eat certain things, and you might eat like a bird, eat a little bit less. Um, People have reported issues with teeth. I know I had a lot of dental work done on a Saturn line, ascendant line. So things like that come up. But this is good information to note. One thing I also want to mention is that, again, it is not linear. So there's opportunity for you to see within the twists and turns of being on Saturn line and experiencing Saturn. Hey, this challenge is actually asking for this from me. Oh wow, I actually have the tools to recognize this now. How can I be a mentor or coach or help somebody else? So I had a client of mine who lived on her mother lived on a Saturn IC line, and her and the stepfather were divorced, but they were still living in the house. And she says, my mom's been trying to sell this house for 3 years, and her and my stepfather are still living there, and it's kind of miserable and uncomfortable for them. And I mean, naturally, if Saturn is cold, dark, damp, a place where there's not much light coming in, and it just likes the solitude, the remedy for that planet would be the polarity, the sun. So the sun will bring warmth, light, bright colors, natural lighting, lighthearted energy, fun. And so I said, well, right away, I think, your mom needs to increase the natural lighting in the home. That's something she can do by, opening the shutters during the day, and uh, adding a fresh coat of paint, white paint, to make it, pop and make it bright and a little more vibrant in there. Get yellow or orange flowers and rotate them as they wilt and die, so that they're not just dead flowers there. And she had mentioned, she says, it's funny you mentioned that when they came to appraise the house, they said it's really dark in here. There's not much lighting. And so in her mother making that little adjustment, she sent me a screenshot message from her mom. The house sold within a few weeks, and the people who bought the home said, thank you for the flowers. They were lovely. So they really appreciated that she had those bright yellow flowers at the entrance when she was, selling the home. And so all that to say, um, you can really maximize and make the best out of whatever region you're on. Some people can't move. Some people are stuck on a Saturn line. What about people who are minors and they're growing up on Saturn lines, or their family moves to a Saturn line? What is their experience like? Well, if you have a child and you and your family are moving to Saturn line, and your child's going to be on their Saturn line, increase the natural lighting in their room. Don't dress them in so many dark colors all the time, because you don't want a teenager with depression. On You want to try to do what you can to make sure that they are given all the tools to sort of navigate that heavy Saturnian experience. So that's all I got to say. Thank you so much for being a subscriber to my Patreon, and I want to keep this locality series going, and probably go to Pluto line next. All right, y'all. Happy Leo season.